Tonight, another round of easing coronavirus restrictions in South Australia takes place, and the ACCC rejects a while a politician's request for an investigation into petrol prices.
From our 7 Spencer Golf Studios, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. After more than 2 months of restrictions, a number of South Australian businesses were allowed to reopen today. Gyms and pubs among the sectors trading, but with strict social distancing regulations in place.
Pouring the first pint since the lockdown began in March.
Yeah, the boys are enjoying a nice pot of cold pints, so it's all good, yeah.
We're just saying that it's much colder and much better out of a glass every time. Yeah, excellent.
The Pastoral Hotel reopening the front bar, following guidelines. Excited to see patrons come back in for a drink.
We get a few more Port Augusta people and the surrounding areas in and around the pub and call in and say hello, so be good, yeah. We've missed you.
For those wanting to work up a sweat, local gyms are now welcoming back members, new and old. Operators say customers have been missing it.
Pretty busy. Brad's actually booked out all day, so that's great. I've got a couple of clients this afternoon and some of our other trainers have got clients all day, so it should be good.
However, it's not business as usual, with forever changing rules and restrictions in place. Regular gyms allowing 20 people per room, with classes restricted to just 10.
We are a studio where we just do personal training and group fitness. So it was a bit confusing as to you can have 20 people in here, but you're only allowed to have 10 people in a class. That kind of thing was a bit confusing.
And opening up means a few extra measures must be taken to ensure the safety of users.
Obviously the social distancing is a big thing. We've got signs all around the gym, as well as a booking system. So members book in during peak hours and unstaffed times.
But there has been one upside to the closure for one gym. The pandemic providing Bodycare Fitness a chance to undertake a thorough clean.
Because the gym's been shut down, we've been able to move all the equipment out, give the floor a good sprucing and clean the whole gym up. It's been good.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
A new South Australian government tourism campaign has been launched to encourage us to explore the regions. Clare Valley Tourism Centre staff are thrilled to open their doors, forecasting a busy long weekend.
It smiles all round here at the Clare Valley Tourism Centre, with wine tastings returning to the cellar doors after a 2-month break.
As of today, we can welcome 20 visitors to have coffee, sit inside, and we can also serve wine and tastings here in the centre, and we can have 11 people on the deck, so we're excited to be able to cater for that.
The opening coincides with a $1.5 million state government cash splash, enticing travellers to the regions.
Means to get out and spend a bit of money and travel around our state. Now really is the time to do it.
So great to see the main streets and all the businesses starting to open up again.
The entrance looks a bit different, with strict social distancing regulations put in place. Staff are working around the clock to update the community on businesses reopening.
clarevalley.com.au, where we're updating every day, almost every hour, what's open, just so we've got up-to-date, correct information for our visitors.
Tourism Centre staff are urging visitors to book in their wine tastings as well as their lunch for the long weekend. And it's the first weekend of winter, so they're also urged to rug up.
We're expecting lots of people, so we do ask people to remember they need to book for tastings and also for any dine-in meals.
Some wineries also taking social distancing to the next level.
Aldridge Wines are doing an isolation village, so definitely check that one out if you're in the Clare Valley. But again, you'll need to book that one.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
While a state MP is calling for an investigation into regional petrol prices across the Spencer Gulf, the ACCC, however, has rejected the idea, saying multiple factors come into play which impact on regional market costs.
A call for cheaper petrol as Whyalla residents raise concerns about costly prices.
Well, I wrote to the ACCC in April about petrol prices in regional communities like Whyalla and Port Augusta, saying that there needs to be an investigation.
Mr Hughes calling for a review into the price contrast and lack of competition between service stations in regional cities.
The ACCC have written back. They have not given be the time of day, if you like. They have not indicated they will carry out an investigation.
The ACCC says at the time, petrol prices in Whyalla were dropping quite quickly.
Prices got down to about $1.05. They're still about $1.08 now in Whyalla.
Highlighting a range of factors which impact on regional downturns.
The petrol in the tanks in the service station turns over more slowly, so it takes a bit longer.
In March this year, we identified that those part savings that were happening in the international prices weren't being passed on to the regions as quickly as we can.
The RAA encouraging real-time fuel prices.
For the first time, we'll give regional motorists very good data on where the cheapest fuel is so they can actually use it to go and shop and change the behaviour of the oil companies.
Although petrol prices have decreased in Whyalla since the start of the year, residents are still raising concerns.
The concerns are that we are being ripped off, that we're paying far more when it comes to petrol, and the petrol prices take a lot longer to drop.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
2 Port Pirie men have been charged with allegedly trafficking drugs following a police raid Friday morning. Patrols searched 2 homes at Port Pirie South and Solomon Town, allegedly uncovering methamphetamine, ecstasy, cannabis and cash. A 50-year-old man and a 42-year-old man were both arrested and charged. They've been released on bail and will appear in court at a later date. 3 people have been arrested after they allegedly tried to smuggle drugs into South Australia in the early hours of Sunday morning. The trio was stopped at the border checkpoint at Udlawira just before 6 o'clock. Police searched the car, allegedly finding approximately 250 ecstasy pills and more than $20,000 in cash. A 29-year-old Broken Hill woman was among the group. The other 2 were from Mildura. They've been charged with trafficking a controlled drug. Still to come tonight, Broken Hill councillors give the green light for a $10 million loan. And while a council completes a beach revitalisation project, 7 years in the making. Welcome back. A $10 million loan from the New South Wales Government has received support from Broken Hill's councillors. The loan is part of Council's long-term financial plan, which is currently on public display.
A boost to Council's coffers to support the city in a tough time.
An economic stimulus package for the city involves Council taking a $10 million loan at 1.8% interest, but the real focus is around obviously stimulating the economy, growing jobs.
The city's councillors endorsed the long-term financial plan for council at last week's monthly meeting. Included in the document a plan to push for a $10 million low-interest loan from the state government.
It looks like a great opportunity for Broken Hill. It means major infrastructure investment. That means jobs. That means stimulating our economy.
The Mayor said last week council wouldn't get the loan unless it could prove it could pay it back. Now it appears they can.
The loan would be independently assessed by T-Court to make sure it is financially sustainable for the city, but it is within Council's borrowing policy limit. It actually puts Council in a better position at the end of the 10 years when the loan is paid out.
Mr Nankerville saying Council would pay back around $900,000 in interest across a 10-year period. It would be used for major infrastructure projects across the city. They include a sporting complex at O'Neill Sport Precinct, upgrading the Queen Elizabeth Park, as well as improving parts of the CBD. The draft financial plan will be on public display for 28 days.
Everybody can have a say in this because it's out for public comment. We want to hear what your thoughts are. We want to give you, correct any misinformation that's out there.
Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
South Australian families have saved $2.6 million through the state government's Sport Vouchers program. So far, more than 26,000 vouchers have been claimed, seeing an increase in recent weeks. The program provides primary school-age kids up to $100 for sport registration fees. Families are now being urged to cash in vouchers as restrictions on sports training and competitions ease in the coming days. NAIDOC Week 2020 organisers have announced the event has been postponed. The committee making the decision after taking advice from health experts and the government regarding the safety of their communities. The nomination process for the National NAIDOC Awards and the local grants round have been suspended until further notice. However, the event may still occur this year, with organisers searching for another date. While a city council has sprinkled some life into the foreshore, seeding 35 different species of vegetation into local sand dunes. It's the final stage of a replenishment project, running all the way from the caravan park to the breakwater.
Scattering the special mixture of seeds and stomping them into the dunes. It's a simple process which will quickly grow at the Whyalla foreshore.
To get some species diversity in our foreshore vegetation, but also to get something established here on what's left of our frontal dune from our sand replenishment project.
It's all in a day's work for Succession Ecology, experts in vegetation across the Eyre Peninsula.
At the moment, the sand is blowing, the waves are coming in and undercutting. We want to stabilise that so that people can enjoy the natural vegetation here on the dunes.
If we can get a sustainable, healthy beach that looks after itself and you lose a little bit in winter but then you gain it again in summer and get that system happening back the way it used to, that would be fantastic.
The process started back in 2013 when Council began the sand replenishment project.
We did up near the caravan park and down near the breakwater and the cafe, that section, because we knew this area would wash out.
Now with the sandbags installed, the $5,000 project aims at developing vegetation across the entire strip.
The top of those sandbags, and that's where we've got to start getting some vegetation to grow along, and hopefully they'll start capturing more and more sand and we'll start to get that frontal dune developing that's vegetated.
800 tube stock of coastal plants will also be installed.
And in 4 to 6 weeks, if the rain gods come along like they have been this last month or two, then we should see germination.
Sophia Contagonis, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. The Pro Heart Outback ArtPrize receives record entries. And Mid-North locals launch a new project to help improve mental health. Entry numbers for this year's Pro Heart ArtPrize have smashed the record from 2019, despite the entries being online only. Organisers now preparing for the challenging task of selecting finalists.
It may be affected by COVID-19, but the virus hasn't stopped a new record being set.
For the 4th year in a row, we've actually got record-breaking entry numbers. This year we've got 471. Last year was 382.
The Silver City's most prestigious art award, named after the iconic Pro Heart and supported by his family, has continued to draw national attention. Even with coronavirus forcing entries to be submitted electronically, organisers say they've received an overwhelming number of works.
I think the main factor is that people know about the prize. We've been doing a really great job with advertising, the team at the gallery and at council.
We've been in lockdown for a little while and it gives them more chance to be creative and work in their studios.
The judging process will start soon. From the 471 entries, there'll be a finalist pool of about 30.
Every year we get a really diverse range of entries and I'm pretty sure we've got that again this year. So normally we get painting, drawing, works on paper, 3D works, video works.
The gallery hopes to hold a finalist exhibition in September, but a date is not confirmed.
Make a few different options for the opening. We might be able to let small groups of people through, VIP people, book tickets, things like that. And we're going to announce the prizes probably online.
The winner of the ArtPrize takes home $20,000. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
A Broken Hill football team has reopened its club rooms on Friday night to host the Schnitzel Extravaganza. Looking to generate some trade through the venue, the North Bulldogs invited locals to place an order for the footy club delicacy. A drive-through setup made sure hungry buyers didn't have to leave their cars. Some players even donating their time to do deliveries across town.
We're already talking about the next one, so yeah, it's been really successful and making great dollars for the club. It's been really well supported by all of our members and other footy clubs.
More than 120 schnitzels flew out the door across the night. In the wake of the coronavirus crisis in South Australia's horror bushfire season, a group of Mid-North locals are reaching out through an online broadcast. Those involved are hoping to promote good mental health and community spirit.
Lights, camera, action. This group is eager to send a powerful message to Mid-North communities.
So we thought, how can we interact with them? How can we keep this positives going? I thought, well, let's do this show.
Clare Valley's Ennis Park looking a bit different, with a small group putting together this green screen.
The regions are important, like especially if we've come through the fires and stuff like that. That's hard, you know, especially Kangaroo Island.
Special guests took centre stage during the live show, including some community leaders.
On what's happening with the COVID, we had Jeff Brock here. Then I pulled somebody off the street and she talked about her service dog, so that was really interesting, she and the group that she's with.
Jeff Brock, the local member for Frome, he helped talk about tourism, a good part to play back into the community.
Camera crew say it's a rewarding initiative, encouraging community members to get involved.
And she was all worried and I pulled her off. I said, be fine, and she just blossomed like a flower, so it was really good.
They say this is just the beginning, with hopes to tour the region.
Who knows where we'll be next? We know that we've been invited to come to Peary and Port Augusta and do a show there, so, you know.
Their Clare Valley segment can be found online. Sherry Hams, 7 Spencer Gulf News.
Stay with us after the break. We check the day's local finance news, and I'll have the latest weather forecast. Hello again. Time for a check of the day's finance. BHP continued its recent strong form, jumping by 3%. Oz Minerals and Santos were both up by around 2.5%. Wesfarmers and Westpac both had marginal rises of around 1%. However, Clean Seas was down. And the ASX 200 and All Ordinaries both had strong days, both up by just over 1%. Time for a look at the weather, and it was a bit of a mixed bag today across our region. Southern areas received a few showers, with northern areas drier but cool. Broken Hill reached just 14 degrees, Kadina also 14, while Port Augusta was one of the warmest in the region with 18 degrees. Elsewhere, Whyalla was partly cloudy and 16, showers and 15 in Port Lincoln. Woodner also reached 16, while Port Pirie was 15 degrees. To the satellite now, and cloud across southeast South Australia is generating some patchy showers and the odd storm. Skies across the rest of the region remain mostly clear, thanks to a ridge of high pressure. Having a look ahead to tomorrow. Out on the waters, south to southeast winds between 20 and 25 knots for most of the day, dropping to 15 in the evening. Seas will be between 1 to 2 metres, with the swell below 1 metre in northern parts, rising to up to 2.5 metres south of Cowell to Wallaroo. Looking ahead to tomorrow now, showers easing in Port Lincoln in a top of 17 degrees, a shower or two of 16 in Clare, Woodner showers and a top of 17. Heading further north, Whyalla will be cloudy with a maximum top of 18, Port Augusta cloudy and 17 degrees, Kadina will see a few showers tomorrow and a top of 17. Port Pirie, a shower or two and a top of 15, Clare cold and showery reaching just 13 degrees tomorrow, and in Broken Hill it'll be partly cloudy and 15 degrees. Looking ahead to Wednesday, Coober Pedy sunny and 18 degrees, Port Augusta also reaching 18. Whyalla, Kadina, Woodner and Port Pirie all partly cloudy and 17, Port Lincoln cloudy and 17, Broken Hill partly cloudy and 15, and Adelaide will reach 16 degrees. The last of that showery weather should clear by Thursday with dry conditions across the entire region. Coober Pedy, Woodner and Port Augusta both mostly sunny and 18, Whyalla and Port Pirie with tops of 17, Port Lincoln mostly sunny but still on the cooler side with a top of 16. And the start of the long weekend on Friday will be a dry and sunny one. Port Augusta sunny and 19 degrees, Woodner partly cloudy and 19, Whyalla 18. Port Lincoln and Port Pirie both dry and mostly sunny and 17 degrees, and Broken Hill sunny and a top of 18 degrees. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks for joining us. I'll have updates later, and we'll be back tomorrow night at 7 p.m. On behalf of the entire news team, have a great evening. Good night.